Me every day when I get up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
The time has come for his lordship to stand forth.
What you need to be like to build a successful YouTube fragrance channel.
Barbaric. Sadistic.
Me when someone tells me they did a fun run for charity.
What an enchanting affair that must have been. You must be so proud of yourself, and so must your mother be so proud of you for doing it.
What I say when someone asks me what pronoun I prefer to be known by.
I'm a gentleman, and I should be respected for being one.
Me before interviewing the Fragrance Apprentice on my channel.
How on earth am I expected to show the class that I always show when I have to face that ragamuffin?
How I describe myself on my online dating profile.
The ultimate fighting machine, the world's greatest martial arts fighter.
What happened when I met Chris from the Fragmental channel for the first time.
I put him to waste.
Me when the assistant in a shoe shop asked me if they can help me to try on some shoes.
You're not worthy of lacing my royal boots.
Me when people say my YouTube channel has hit rock bottom.
I've still got a lot in store for you, believe me.
What I said when my sister asked me to let my nephew and niece beat me in an arm wrestling contest.
Like the great Winston Churchill said, we will fight them on the beaches. I will fight them, and I will fight them hard, and I will fight them strong, and I will fight them until the fight is over, and I shall stand on top of the hill, victorious once and for all.
And this was what I said to Archie Luxury after I had to kick him off my recent live stream.
I must emphatically say, you served as an embarrassment. I believe you owe an apology.
And guys, have some tissues ready because I'm now going to show you a part of Archie's very moving apology that he made to me.
I am really sorry. I want to apologize to Mr. Smelly himself there. What I said was completely out of my normal nature. I want to apologize. I want to apologize on the air now and say, I am sorry. I'm really sorry. I am really sorry.
Oh. Moving words from the lovely Archie Luxury. Today, I'm going to talk about the subject of sexiness and fragrances. Should fragrances be sexualized? Sex. It's good, isn't it? Sex, or is it? Let's discuss this topic in today's video. So, my thumbnail today has a provocative image, maybe, from a Tom Ford advert for his fragrance Tom Ford for Men. And you can see that it is a fragrance between a woman's breasts. Clearly, the fragrance takes on the role of the male phallus, and that is a little bit provocative, and so it's hopefully going to provoke you to think, oh, what a shocking video. I'm fascinated what Mr. Smelly will say, and hopefully you've clicked on it. If you're offended, even better, but most of you won't be, because we all know really that in life, let's be frank, sex sells. It does smell too. Sex sells. This is a fact of life. So for me, the short answer that I want your opinion, by the way, in the comments down below. Do you think fragrances should be sexualized? Should we talk about sexiness in fragrances as much as some of us do? And should adverts for fragrances make you think they might make you sexy? Discuss. Well, I'm going to get my short answer is yes. Of course they should. I was prompted to do this by a comment that somebody left in a live stream of mine where they said fragrances shouldn't be sexualized, and I kind of answered and said, well, what do you... Of course they should. It's natural that they will. So sex is one of those things that humans are very interested in, just innately. Have some of us more than others, and certain ages and periods in your life where it's more of an issue than it is for me in my late middle age or mid-middle age. But you know what I mean. Sex is a big thing in life. People are obsessed with the subject of sex and with being sexually attracted to others. It's one of the main drives that humans have, apart from the need to have food and shelter and survival. The other thing is to procreate. It's innate. Mother Nature programmed us this way. It's a little trick Mother Nature needs to play on us in order to keep the species going. Same for dogs and cats and bats and rhinoceroses and all the animals out there. But unlike those creatures, we are red-blooded mammals, as are some of those creatures I just mentioned. But unlike them, who just kind of go and They're not too fussy who they sleep with, I think, and they get on with it pretty quickly. They don't wine and dine their partner, and they don't try out different positions. It's fun, isn't it? Animals don't normally have different sexual positions and stuff, do they? Interesting. We enjoy sex, and we are creative about it. We have loads of different sexual acts that we perform and different positions and foreplay. Oh God, this is disgusting. Let's move on from that. But the good thing about being human is we enjoy some of our drives in life. So not only that, we enjoy the experience of pursuing a sexual partner, and we kind of relish the pleasures that sexual interaction can bring between people of whatever gender, blah, blah, blah. We also relish our food. A lion just goes and sinks its teeth into a wildebeest. It probably enjoys that and rips the flesh off and eats it. But we get our food and we season it and we prepare it, and we have millions of different dishes and drinks. Lions probably much more healthy than us. They just drink water. But we have, orange juice and Coca-Cola and wine and all these, beer and wonderful things. So we are a much more interesting species than any of the others on this earth, although I love animals too, not sexually, but I like those creatures. They're great. So we it's nice that we have a culture, we have art, we have even a sex culture, and that we're interested in the topic going back thousands of years to cavemen times, or I'm going to put a Roman image here. People have been depicting sex because it's such a big part of what people are thinking about all the time, and it's they're clearly not showing it just as we need to do this to keep our species going. They're showing that we want to enjoy it. So when it comes to fragrances for many years have been marketed in connection with sex and sexiness. It's a fact of life. So we can go right back to, well, I don't know how far you need to go back, but going back to the 50s, there's some ads here clearly giving an idea that fragrances kind of make you sexy. Even the one with the Chanel lady spraying on her neck, it's not saying anything explicit, but it's sort of, she looks alluring, and I think the idea is there that she looks sexy, and that's to sell it to women, really. So it's the idea that if you wear this, you're going to look glamorous and attractive like this woman. You can see a Dior Sauvage ad here from the 60s, and it's a very basic message. A guy's got his arm around a girl. Wear this fragrance, you'll get the girl. Although there are other adverts where he's just in a bathrobe, so maybe he's just enjoying the fragrance for himself. So basically, sex is part of how people sell fragrances and what makes people want to wear a nice fragrance, because it makes you feel more attractive, and it may make you a little bit more attractive to other people. That is a true thing. It won't turn a donkey into a racehorse, and I don't think that if you're really not in good shape, wearing a scowl on your face, not being nice, not being charming, not being witty, it will turn you into someone who can get the girls, get the boys, whoever you want, on its own. Of course, no one really thinks that. I'm in my mid-40s. I have hardly been out of the house much in the last 18 months because of lockdowns and stuff. I couldn't care less really about, I'm not dating, I'm single. I don't care less really about attracting people, and I love fragrances. I've got a huge collection, I've got my channel, so it doesn't have to be all about sex. It doesn't have to be about sex at all. I love this fragrance, Lauder for Men. It's a great fragrance, or Estee Lauder for Men. I just love the smell of this on myself. I reckon it might be sexy to a woman, but that's far from the reason. It smells manly. I like that about it. So I wonder if I met the right woman and she was roughly my age, and instead of smelling like Dior Sauvage, I think this would give me a classy touch. But that's not why I bought it and why I like it, because I don't go out and meet people at the moment. So it doesn't have to be about sex, but it's fine if we think about it in connection with that as well. The thing is, guys, to be honest with you, I do YouTube, and if you put sexy in a video title, it gives the title of the video more chance to be appealing to people. It makes your thumbnail a little bit more appealing sometimes if you put sexy in it. There'll be some videos on the screen now scrolling down, other people doing videos about fragrance with the word sexy in the thumbnail and or the title. It's all over the place. Men are doing it, women are doing it. Women are doing videos saying these fragrances will make you hot, so guys want you. Even more so, we get women doing lists for men to watch, where it's kind of implied you want a hot chick like me in the thumbnail. These fragrances will make you sexy. And we get men doing it to other men. Hey guys, these are the sexiest fragrances. It's the way of the world, guys. You can lament it all you want, but you can't change it by, trying to say, oh, we mustn't say that anymore. It's just a fact of life. Sex sells, and it's fine. What's the problem? There's no problem with that. I think it's okay. I think it's good. So for me, I know that I've been a little bit cynical sometimes in talking about sexual subjects. I did a video. I broke the barrier. I did a video called Sexiest Fragrance Reviewers. So a lot of people are happy to say fragrances are sexy, which is actually not logical, is it? The actual, the smell itself, that bottle of liquid, that smell, you can't have sex with a fragrance, you can't go on a date with a fragrance, you can't fall in love with it. It's actually something that might make people sexy. So the title of these videos should be Top 10 Fragrances that will help you to be sexy. Not to say that the fragrance, not top 10 sexiest fragrances, well, the fragrance isn't really sexy in and of itself. So I actually said something that was true, that some people, male and female, because I did 2 videos, who make fragrance videos are kind of sexy for whatever reason. They look good, maybe they're funny too, maybe that can be... Anyway, but I'm at least different. By the way, and if you like me being different and a bit more daring than other channels, please do subscribe. It helps me, even if you don't like everything I say. And if you really like me, you can join my Patreon. Link in the description. Extra video every week. Only costs $2 or something a month. Fantastic. So, yeah, let's move on. Next bit of this little discussion. And I want your opinions, so please let me know. So the YouTube vids, yeah, we have a lot of those about sex. That's obvious. We know that. There are some channels who are much more serious and they like to talk about the in-depth note readings, and it's an art form. And yes, it is kind of an art form, fragrance, but I wouldn't put it quite on the level of a Picasso painting or a musical composition by J.S. Bach or Beethoven or Shostakovich. Frankly, it's a nice smell. There's a lot of skill and art in making that, but let's not elevate it too high. Let's not get too... It's not that serious. That's why I do daft jokes in the beginning of my videos, and some of them are connected to the subject of sex, because we have this overblown, pompous idea that fragrances are so magnificent and artistic and sensual and sexual, and it's kind of... it's a bit silly, really. I'm a hapless 44-year-old guy, balding or whatever. So the jokes usually that I make, although they're smutty and silly, they're kind of at my own expense, because it's daft, this idea that I'm all charismatic and sexy because I've got these fragrances, because it doesn't change the many, many failings that I have. So with the ads and stuff, we've seen that they use this stuff a lot. A lot of modern ads maybe moving away from it a little bit. The recent Dior Sauvage Elixir thing, or the whole Johnny Depp campaign. He just looks kind of like a cool guy. I don't know if he looks really... He's not really saying I'm sexy, or there's no girls, I don't think, really flocking after him in the ads, whereas you had that Vincent Cassel ad 10 years or so ago with the La Nuit de l'Homme, which was really good, where he kind of gets 3 girls in a night because he's wearing this. So maybe maybe they're so woke now, they're moving away from that. I don't know. Interesting discussion. And some of the 70s and 80s ads are much more blatant, like there's just women's nails on a guy's chest and a bottle of denim or whatever. I mean, sometimes they were a bit tacky, but hey, I don't mind a bit of tackiness here on the Mr. Smelly channel. The other thing is ingredients. On a bit more of an intellectual level, or the knowledge of fragrance being demonstrated here. Civet, musk, castoreum, often been used in fragrances for hundreds of years, and these are the parts from the back ends of animals, their glands, kind of, I think, to do with their sex glands. Why is that? Interesting, isn't it? So people, high-class French perfumers with great skill, put in these kind of dirty, sexy smelling ingredients into these fine French perfumes, because I think it gives that undertone of some smells that you may have experienced when you've had sex, because I don't want to get into this, it's a distant memory for me, but when you do have sex, even with somebody who's got great personal hygiene and is clean, when you really get heated up and down and dirty with things, sometimes there are some smells associated with it that are a little bit funky, but they can turn people on in a way, because there's these, we're programmed to that. Those smells are there to attract people instinctively to those parts of the body. I mean, sorry guys to go into this stuff, but I think that's how it worked. Cavemen didn't have an instruction manual to tell them what to do, but they were attracted to these bits of the body, partly by the smell. And so if you put that in a perfume, subliminally, if it just stank of that, it's a bit gross, but if you mix it with the lavender and the bergamot and everything, and the tonka bean, it can give this subtle subliminal attraction to people. So, it's very interesting that human beings, we're so sophisticated and magnificent, I love it, that we can use these sexual smells from animals and put them in very delicate, fine French perfumes, and they maybe help to make the perfume a little bit more sexy. Humans are so wonderfully... I love animals. I don't make love to them, neither should you, but they're great creatures. The best animal, controversial, the best animal on this planet is the human. We are very, very interesting, intelligent. We build things, we have culture, and we enjoy our appetites, our appetite for food, our appetite for, I have a very strong appetite to put alcohol in my body. Animals can't do that. I know they're more healthy than us, but I wouldn't want to be one, you know, it's much more fun to do this. And yeah, some people have an appetite to take drugs. That's a bad idea in general, but it shows that we are seeking something higher and beyond, and we are seeking not just to have sex to procreate and further our species, but we're really seeking sometimes to enjoy that act. And sadly, I don't know. It's just a fact. One of the biggest things you can watch online if you're not watching a Mr. Smelly Fragrance video, I don't know if this is the most profitable thing online, I bet it might well be, or even the thing that there is the most of to watch in terms of video online, pornography. Mainly men looking at it. Men seem to be more basic and visual. So, you know, it's just a huge thing for human beings, and everything that can at all be linked to it will be. Clothing that makes you sexy. If you play a guitar or a musical instrument, maybe that can make you sexy. And fragrances totally obviously are to do with sex. Many great perfumers have admitted as much. There's a Tom Ford on the images, and there's another Tom Ford thing here where he's got the lady and her backside is being used to hold the tester strips. That is actually objectifying the woman a bit. To the subject of objectification, some people have said my video about the reviewers objectified them because I said they were sexy. I looked up the meaning of objectification, and it just means actually that you would actually reduce someone to nothing more than a toy or an object or a tool. So actually, well, if you say someone is sexy, you're not necessarily objectifying them, because you're just saying they look sexy maybe, but you're not denying that they also may have a great personality and be interesting and intellectual. So you're not reducing them necessarily to a mere object. But Tom Ford there, by using the woman as a thing to hold his tester strips in, I kind of like the picture. He is probably objectifying them a bit. So discuss that. That was interesting, I thought. So guys, that's my take on it. Sexiness, sexy reviewers, fine. Videos about sexy fragrances, fine. Mildly provocative content and jokes and stuff on YouTube channels, great, love it. Tacky adverts with people being sexually attracted to each other in a very obvious, over-the-top way just because they smell good, love it. Totally in favour of it myself. I'm not sexy, but I'm in favour of sexy. Hang on, I'm not sexist, but I'm not sexist, but I'm in favour of sexiness. I'm like Nigel Tufnell. What's wrong with being sexy, guys? I think it's a good thing, and fragrances should be and can be sexy, even if you're like me and you don't go out much or meet any other people. Whatever, I can just be sexy on my own, can't I, with my Lauder for Men. Love it. I feel sexy, guys. If you like this video, thumbs up and all that stuff. Jesus. Try not to inhale fragrances. That's the end. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. I'll see you in the next one. Good night, guys.
Viveur, les nouveaux parfums pourront par Norton et Wilson, parce que la vie est faite pour être appréciée.